In this overview, we're going to demonstrate the functionality of the Icelink Platform and the three stakeholders. Kelvin will be the pilot with his iPad in the cockpit, and Brian will be running the deicer in the truck on his iPad, and he will also be demonstrating the functionality of the de-icing coordinator from dispatch.
You can go back and look at the de-icing history in the top right if there was perhaps a pre-spray for that aircraft. We'll start our request. Automatically, the system determines your location. However, we're going to do the demonstration in Chicago as an American Airlines pilot. So I'm going to cancel this and select my airport, being Chicago, the airline filter, American Airlines. And I can go down to the flight schedule that's actually at the airport. So I'll pick American Airlines 1029. Automatically, the system knows the flight number, the aircraft registration, and the aircraft type, and my current gate. If that's all correct, pilot can hit accept, and it comes to an information page. It gives a METAR along the top, has a overview of the airport, and if there was weather, rain or snow, the radar imagery would show up on this page. Also have the widget in the bottom right that shows nowcasting information for the pilot to know when the precipitation is going to start and stop, and its intensity. And then finally, along the bottom are some past 3 hours, the KPIs for the de-icing performance at the airport. We've only done one flight, but it shows the average spray time, the fluid that was sprayed, type 1 and type 4, the average start to start time, which is de-icing truck starting an aircraft to the next one he starts. And the final KPI is the average treatment time. With that information, the pilot is then going to go on to the treatment page. Here, the de-icing coordinator has reviewed the weather and anticipated what the pilots will be requesting, and they put in both type 1 and type 4 for the current conditions. The pilot always has the final say. So for an example, I'm going to remove the vertical stabilizer for type 4. If I like the treatment plan, I'll confirm it, proceed. The bottom here, I can push in my anticipated pushback time. I can confirm that. And now I'm waiting for the de-icing truck.
At this point, we'll switch to Brian's screen so that you can see the functionality of the de-icing coordinator and the de-icing truck.
Here we are on the Icelink dispatch screen. This is Chicago O'Hare Airport. I can see as a heads up an indicator that a pilot has made a request that this little ticket appears at the top right hand corner of my screen. And I can go and I need to approve of that request for de-icing. I'll go to the schedule page. I can scroll through the schedule page to find the aircraft, or I can simply go to active. And here we go. Here's the aircraft that is requesting de-icing. You can see the color codes that will change as the de-icing progresses. So for both Kelvin and for the dispatchers, they'll see the progression of de-icing by color code. I'm going to qualify the flight by looking over the request, and I can see what the pilot requires, and I can see this pilot doesn't like type 4 on its vertical, so that's perfect. And I can see the pilot's name and any other pertinent information, and that they're at Hotel 6 gate. That way I have a better idea of who I'm going to send over there to de-ice that aircraft.
Just as you save that, Brian, I got a notice on my iPad that the flight strip's been approved. So I know you've got my request.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to assign a truck to that aircraft to go and de-ice Kelvin's aircraft. And here's the only truck available, truck 914. Add that truck, save it. This is the actual de-icer's tablet in their vehicle. They have several different assets on the Icelink tablet at their disposal. We're going to be de-icing. We've already logged in. I'm going to tap on de-icing, and I can see there's an aircraft that's been assigned to me. American Airlines 1029. I'm going to select that aircraft. I'm going to look over the information that the aircraft has provided to us, or that the dispatch has provided to us. I can see that the brake set and aircraft configured keys are not activated. Therefore, I know it's not safe to approach the aircraft.
Brian, I'm going to, as a pilot, configure my aircraft. I've just hit the aircraft configure button.
Sure.
Clicking on the brakes are set. There you go.
For the technician, I can now see that the brake is set, the aircraft is configured. I can look over what they require for de-icing, what the pilot would like to see done on their aircraft, and I can see they don't like Type 4 in their vertical. Superb. I'll accept the treatment, and I'll go on to execute the treatment plan. This is the functional de-icing page, which will progressively show all persons present at what stage the de-icing is occurring, including for the pilot. We'll go back and forth. There's no primary present or a lead on this aircraft, and somebody always has to be the lead. I will select that role to make sure that the quality of the operation is as required. And with no further ado, we'll start de-icing by selecting this de-ice start key right here at the bottom.
Now at this point, you will notice on Brian's screen he has the imagery of the aircraft and what he needs to do. We'll now switch over to Kelvin's screen from the pilot's perspective to see the process as it's happening in real time. In the pilot situation, they will first see a blank or clear aircraft.
So I can see in real time that Brian has just sprayed my fuselage, the Type 1, left wing, left tail, right wing, right tail. So that's everything I want to de-ice. Now I am anticipating that the Type 4 process will begin. You'll notice that the hot start time is indicated at 8:25 now. That's for the holdover information. And as the de-icing and anti-icing is now all complete, I have an imagery of everything that I asked for.
Now we'll switch back to Brian as the technician de-icer.
And we can see that the aircraft has been de-iced and anti-iced. And I now want to end the spray. So I'm going to select end spray in this lower right-hand corner. It's going to confirm that I'm ready to end spray and that my truck is safe. Very important. And it is complete. This is going to be the page where I'm going to indicate how much was sprayed on the aircraft. And I'm going to indicate which parts of the aircraft I de-iced. I am the only vehicle, so I'm going to indicate that I de-iced all of those quadrants of the aircraft. Look over my fluids, confirm, go by to the primary approval page. This is where the primary or lead on the aircraft is going to verify all the information. It's going to see which trucks are safe. If there were other trucks, they would appear in a column underneath this initial truck here, which is the lead vehicle. I can see that vehicle 914 sprayed 157 and at 75, the 4 quadrants of the aircraft, and that the truck is safe. I'll now indicate what kind of contamination was discovered on the aircraft and complete the de-icing. And I go back to my de-ice order page.
We'll now go back to Kelvin's view so that you can see what it looks like from the pilot's perspective.
Now, as Brian completed his process, we have the treatment complete page for the pilot that gives him all of the pertinent information, the de-icing, anti-icing volumes, the fluids, the temperature, the start times, and finally at the bottom, if it was cold and snowing, we would have a holdover time pertinent to the conditions. And once I'm happy with all that information, I can hit confirm. And this completes my process.
And we'll now go back to dispatch from the de-icing coordinator's perspective.
We can see now we're back on the dispatcher page. I've selected once again active only. So I see only the aircraft that I'm working on. And I can see that the aircraft icon has turned blue. So it is completed. And just like the status dots in the top left-hand corner of Kelvin's tablet, we could see the progression of the icing by color code of those dots in the top right-hand corner. For blue, I can close the flight strip one of 3 ways. I can close it on the Iceman page, or I can go to the dispatch geospatial view and see the actual flight queue, and I can release the aircraft this way. So it'd be American Airlines 1029. Your post the anti-icing check and operations complete as requested. Your start time, Type 4, 0827, local time. All vehicles are clear of the aircraft. Have a safe flight, and I can end the flight strip.
Now, once that flight strip is ended, there's a reporting functionality that Brian's going to show you that has captured and time-stamped each of the actions that has occurred. So go ahead, Brian.
The first key gives us the overall performance of the aircraft, of the operations we've done so far this morning. We've processed 2 flights, similar to the KPIs or the key performance indicators that Kelvin showed at the beginning of tapping into his pilot's tablet. I'm going to go in and look in further detail into that flight strip. So if I really want to get in depth and see post-operation how all of that transpired, I can see the weather, the location, how many trucks operated, how much fluid was sprayed on the aircraft, and then I can get into even deeper details, activity, and finally a PDF report. The details page, very similar to the order page, just giving us an overview of the operations and who processed the aircraft, who de-iced the aircraft, how much was sprayed, quadrants of the plane, and we'll go back and look at the overall activity. The activity key allows us to see from beginning to end who created the flight strip, and here's our pilot, Kelvin Williamson, American Airlines 1, who approved of the flight strip and who de-iced the plane, and all the way through. We can see that from beginning to end of the entire operation, right up to the end of the flight strip. And the last key on the reporting page in the flight script data is this PDF report that can be exported as required as the de-icing confirmation slip, standard form de-icing confirmation slip that can be exported, sent by email, etc.
If you need further information, we certainly have a lot more details and information that we can share. We'll be in touch with you, or please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you for watching.